Hi, my name is Kersten Kimura. Welcome to the Balanced Vibes podcast. If you're ready to quit the black and white approach to health and fitness, this is the podcast for you. There's no room for extremes and all or nothing thinking. We are here to talk about real health, sustainable diet and fitness, positive psychology, and spiritual growth, helping you become your own biggest superfan. Welcome to the show. Hello, everybody. My name is Kersten Kimura. I am your podcast host, and I am also a personal trainer, women's health educator, group fitness trainer, and just a fan of health and fitness and balance, as you can tell from the name of this podcast. So thank you so much for being here. This podcast has been, I've been thinking about it for a long time. I think first time I started talking about it in July last year, which was 2019. And here we are, April 2020, finally doing it. You know how there's always one thing or two things or 10 things that have to be done right now and quickly. And then the podcast is just waiting. But finally, I'm getting here, I'm doing it, and I'm really, really excited that you are tuning in today. Here's what you can expect from this podcast. Balanced approach to health and fitness. This is going to be my main topic, the main theme, because I do believe that balance is something that we all say that we want, but when we actually do things, then we do the things that are not so balanced. You know, a lot of people want to get extreme results and quick results from health and fitness and, lose the weight fast and then get fit really fast and then start eating really, really clean with no quote unquote bad foods. We have this sense of urgency. We want to do extreme stuff, but ultimately what I have seen from my experience and also from the experience that I've seen working with many, many clients now is that balance is that place where the true health really happens. Here's what you can expect from this podcast. A lot of real talk. And I want this place to be, for myself too, a place where I can just speak freely and speak what's on my mind and not filter it and edit the whole thing as little as possible. I feel like a lot of what I do online, maybe you've read my blog or have seen what I talk about on Instagram, all of it is very, very serious. We talk about food obsessions and overtraining. I want to keep this podcast a little bit lighter, so it's a bit more fun for you to listen and for me too. And let's make it feel really kind of light and fun. We are going to cover important topics and big topics, but at the same time, I don't want it to be a super serious place, and definitely don't want it to place where that is filled with like negativity and complaining and kind of this victim mindset when it comes to like diet culture and all that. I want to keep up this really good, nice, positive vibe. I am going to bring on a lot of guests. I have a long list of people that I want to interview for this podcast, and a lot of times I'm thinking I want to interview you when one day when I have a podcast, I'm going to do it. So now I have this opportunity to bring on the best people that I know who have amazing information, knowledge, experience, and value to add to this podcast. And of course, there's going to be a lot of solo posts where you just hear me talk about a certain topic. A lot of these podcasts, as I see right now, are going to be like tools and tips kinds of podcasts where I'm going to give you actionable tips and valuable information that you can put into practice right now. But knowing myself and knowing that I'm a really intuitive person, a lot of times I just get an idea and I just want to come here and talk about and let it out and just say what I mean. I feel like there's so many things that I want to say, so many topics that I want to dig into, and so many people that I want to interview so I can learn more and help others learn more as well. The podcasts are going to be anywhere between probably 20 to 60 minutes, no more than an hour in general. And right now the goal is to do them once a week. But like I said, there's going to be probably some surprise episodes where when I feel like I have to talk about this thing right now, that I'm just going to come here and talk and hope that you will get something out of it. All right, this is what you can expect from this podcast. And next, I would like to tell you a little bit more about myself and why I am doing this. So give you a little backstory so you understand what the balance really means for me and how I got to this place. And I do have a feeling that you may recognize yourself in many places, especially if you've been reading my blog, if you've been following me on YouTube or on Instagram, then you probably recognize yourself in a couple of places and say, yeah, me too. I have been active all my life, pretty much as long as I remember. Well, I actually started track and field when I was 9 years old, and since then I've been really, really active doing track and field. In college, I was competitive javelin thrower actually. Then I've also been playing basketball. So any like sports, just name it, I would love to do it, except for cross country skiing, which I did not love at all, but we were forced to do it. I am from Estonia, where we have a lot of snow, sometimes 5 months out of the year. So we had to cross country ski, and that was the only thing that I did not like. But everything else, just bring it on. I want to do it. And it wasn't until about 21 years old where the fitness became actually sort of like an obsession for me. Before that, it had been fun and great and awesome, and I had never thought about fitness as the way to like burn calories or get skinnier. I remember realizing that, hey, I had put on some weights when I started college. In my case, it wasn't because I drank a lot of beer or ate a lot of pizza, none of that, or partied. I didn't do any of that. I was really introverted person, and I would rather be home and or in my teeny tiny room that I rented than and just eat chocolate because I was really sad and I missed home. And even though my home wasn't that far at all, I was still spending a lot of time by myself and just eating for comfort and soothing my feelings. And this is how I gained weight. And it was new to me because I had always had this really athletic looking body, and I had never thought about calories or exercise in a way that I have to do them. It had always been fun for me, but now I realized that I want to lose that weight, so I joined the Weight Watchers. In Weight Watchers, there was a strict point system where everybody had calculated their own number, what they can eat. And I still remember to this day, my number is 21, but I always made sure that I eat less than 21 points so that I can lose weight a little bit faster. And I did. I did lose all the weight and more. I also started running, mostly fasted in the morning, first thing in the morning, and combined it with under eating. And this is how I lost in about 5 months or 6 months, I lost all the weight that I had gained plus some more. It was about 30 pounds or 14, 15 kilograms, something like that. While I was doing all that, I started noticing that my sleep was getting worse. And that was new to me because I had always been such a great, great sleeper. And I remember that when I was in high school and my mom would try to wake me up in the morning, I would just like, no matter what, I would not wake up. I was such a great sleeper. And in weekends also, I would sleep in as long as possible. But now I started getting bad insomnia. I would wake up super early, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and because I didn't know what else to do, I would head out to run or just wait until it get light outside and I would go and run, even though I had only slept like maybe 5 hours. The other thing that happened was that I lost my period. And if you have been following me for a long time, you know that I've been talking about it a lot. This condition is called hypothermic amenorrhea, which is the condition where you lose your period because you have been overtraining and or undereating. I had this condition for over 10 years and I did see a lot of doctors, maybe 3, 4 doctors, and nobody could figure out what's wrong with me. They said, yeah, it's weird that you don't have your period, but you're active, you look healthy. Yeah, we don't know. And you don't want babies right now, do you? And I was in my mid 20s and I really did not want to have babies then. And honestly, I have never had this strong urge to have babies. So I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I don't want to have babies right now. So I just keep doing what I'm doing. I remember one doctor saying that maybe your body weight is a little too low, but because it wasn't anything critical on the BMI chart, if you're familiar with that, then my BMI was back then probably around 20, low 20s or high 19s. So nothing wrong with my BMI. And I'm saying nothing wrong. I'm putting in air quotes here because what I know now is that BMI is a really poor way to look at someone's health. Anyways, nobody could figure it out. And at the same time, I had a lot of other symptoms too. I was cold all the time and getting kind of irritable, and I had some headaches and overall just low energy. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And I gotta say, I loved running. I did not hate running. I loved running and I loved the high and, the runner's high, and you like being fit and conditioned, and running is easy and fun. So it wasn't all the time bad. I didn't feel bad all the time. And I had picked up like CrossFit and then HIIT training and more strength training, which meant that I had actually started eating more and things were getting much, much better. I realized that if I want to get stronger, if I want to put on some muscle, I have to eat. And also, at some point, I had picked up the paleo diet, which I'm not saying if it's like a good or bad diet, but it was nutritionally better than what I used to have before. So now I had more nutrition in my body. My relationship with food was definitely getting much, much better. But in 2016, I still started feeling serious signs of what I call a burnout. I would have less motivation to go work out. I was having a hard time finishing my workouts because I was getting so tired, and I would still try to push myself through this one more round of high knees or one more round of burpees, but my body started saying like, nope, 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 we're not going to do that. And interestingly, I ended up going to a acupuncturist for a wrist issue. I had developed this wrist issue because I was doing so many pull-ups, and my acupuncturist and I started talking about my general health. And what's really cool about, I think, Eastern medicine is that they look at the human's body like holistically. My acupuncturist didn't only ask me, okay, there's a wrist problem, we're going to put some needles in your wrist and fix it. He was also asking me a lot of other kinds of questions. How's your overall health? How's your mood? How's your sex drive? All these things. My mood was crap. My sex drive was non-existent. And we talked about these things, and I said, you know what? I have not had my period for 10 years. And he said, wait a minute, 10 years? And I was like, yeah, but I don't know what to do about it. I'm not sure. And he was the first person who ever told me that this is caused by overtraining and undereating. You may want to take it a little bit easier in the gym and put on some weight and see where that gets you. And we're going to give you some herbs and do some acupuncture to help with that. And you may think that it was shocking news for me. And I mean, it was shocking. It was hard because, as I mentioned earlier, I had always been super, super active. And now I realized, wait a minute, you want me to really slow down and not go to the gym or run anymore for a while? But I gotta say, because like I mentioned earlier, I had become like really burnt out because I had worked out so hard, doing a lot of HIIT training, like so much HIIT training almost every single day, plus running, that hearing this almost permission, getting this permission from him was so good. And I remember hearing that, hey, go out for a walk. It was like, yes, I get to wake up tomorrow morning and I don't have to do fasted HIIT training. It's interesting now to think about it that I needed this external permission, but that's where I was back then. And I remember even soon after that, getting this news, we went to Hawaii for Christmas. My husband's parents lived there, so we went there. And Hawaii for me had always been that place where I work out like a maniac. Really, like all my vacations were just working out nonstop. And now there I was walking in the morning, taking in the views, taking in the beautiful weather, and it was like a total change of pace. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it. Let's say 90% of my clients absolutely hate that. They hate that the gym is going to be taken away from them for a little while, or they can't do their run for a little while. But for me, because I was in such a burnt out state, I needed it. And sure enough, in 5 months, I started feeling so much better. My energy started coming back around maybe 3-4 months after I started my recovery. My mood was better, my sleep was better. I remember waking up one time after 8 hours of sleep, and I was like, whoa, what was that? Because I had not slept that long for many years. And also, about 5 months after I had started all this, my period came back. And this was an awesome sign that my body is back. It's working again. It's great. While I was recovering from my hypothermic amenorrhea and my very obsessive relationship with exercise. Like I said, my food was already much, much, much better by then. I probably was not under eating, but my problem was really overtraining rather. When I was on this journey, I had learned more about the body positivity movement and realized that, hey, you can be a badass and do cool stuff also in a bigger body. And not that I had ever like shamed bigger people or thought that they're less than, but I just never seen myself as being one of them. And there I was, like in significantly bigger body that I had ever been before. And I found the body positivity movement, and I was like, yeah, this kind of makes sense. Not everybody has to be really skinny. Not everybody has to look super athletic. Not everybody has to have six-pack abs, and this is great. And I'm grateful for that period of time when I really immersed myself in that because I learned a lot. But in one moment, also the body positivity movement started feeling a little bit unbalanced for me. So here I came from this background of very restrictive eating and overtraining, and then to the other end of the spectrum to all this body positivity. And what I started noticing in the body positivity movement, that it started becoming a little bit obsessive in a different way. For example, I would see things like, if you work out regularly, that means that you have a body or food obsession. And I was like, wait, this does not sound right to me. It's not right. It's not that everybody who prioritizes exercise is obsessed. And of course, I am not saying at all that all body positivity activists say that or have that message, but I started seeing that more and more. The other thing that I started seeing a lot was that if you're avoiding certain foods, you have an obsession. You're doing it because you're dieting, and you're doing it because you have a problem with your self-acceptance. And I couldn't agree with that either because there are valid reasons for restricting some foods. And if we shame those people who do that, then that's not a good place to be. And again, I want to make sure that everybody knows that I am not against that reasonable, that smart, that very intelligent body positivity movement that has done a lot of good things, but I am against that extremes. And this is why balance is so important to me. I don't want to be the crazy overexerciser and undereater, and I would never recommend that to anyone. And I do recognize that eating disorders are a huge, huge problem here. But on the other hand, I could not agree with this extreme body positivity movement either. That did not sound right to me. Let's talk about weight loss too. One more thing that started not feeling right for me was that the big shaming towards people who wanted to intentionally lose weight, because it seemed like everybody who wants to do that are obsessed. They got this label on them, and I did not like it, and I don't agree with it. I do think that there are reasons why people may have to lose weight, whether it's their health reason or whether it's just that they want to change their physique or body composition. And as long as it's done in a healthy way, I do not have a problem with it. And I think it's everyone's own personal journey, and they can do what they want. This is my message. This is why balance is so, so important for me. And I truly find that I have found this balance myself. Again, I wanted to be really super crystal clear that I have nothing against regular exercise as long as it's not done in a overtraining way. I also don't have anything against body acceptance. In fact, I love body acceptance. I love body acceptance, but I don't like when it's taken too far and when people are feeling ashamed for wanting to change their body shape or size. And I'm going to talk more specifically about balance in fitness in the next episode, and then balance in food and choosing your diet in a balanced way in another episode. So these are going to be the next 2 episodes, and then we're going to talk more about mindfulness and balance with our mental health, which is really so, so, so important for all of us. And as the second part of today's podcast, I figured I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself so that you can get to know me a little bit better and not talk about health and fitness, but more on a personal level, how I got here, how I came to the United States, what I'm doing here, and so on. Like I said, I want to keep this lighter and more fun and not super, super serious all the time. I am from Estonia. Estonia is a small country. If you know where it is, high five because not too many people know. I am from there. I also lived in Finland for 4 years, and that was before I moved to the US. And the reason why I came to the US is that I was writing my PhD in Estonia and also part of it in Finland. I was writing my PhD and then I got a scholarship to UC Berkeley in California. And this in 2012, 2013 ended up being literally the best year of my life and the best place to be. I found out a lot of things about myself. I found out that I am not socially super awkward person. I had always thought, I had told myself this story that I am, but I realized that no, I'm not, because I was in an environment that worked better for me. I also met so many people who opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know before. For example, I met a lot of people who went to school for one thing, and now they were doing something completely different to make their living. For example, there was this guy who went to school for business, and now he was a yoga teacher and a photographer. And then, of course, I met my now husband Hugh, who went to school for biology, and now he was an online marketer. And meeting all these people made me realize that, wait a minute, you don't have to do the thing you went to school for. Like, it's not like your life journey now. And it was kind of like relief to figure that out, because I had been feeling for a little while that what I went to school for was not that the real thing for me. And interestingly, that year that was supposed to be the most remarkable, the most profound for me in my academic career ended up convincing me that I don't want to do it. I went back to Estonia, finished my PhD in 2014, and after that, I moved back to the US. The last couple of months writing my PhD were crazy time because I was at the same time, I had already decided that I'm going to be a personal trainer. So when I was writing my PhD at the same time, I was also studying for my personal trainer certification. I got that at the same time. I did crazy things. I did really hard CrossFit training, and I was running, and I was tired and had insomnia. But that's a story for another podcast. I would definitely touch on that a little bit more. But I got my certification and I came back to the US in 2015, and I've been here since then. Can't believe it's been more than 5 years. And this is where I am today, and this is what I'm doing right now. I've been blogging since 2014, I believe. And at first it was all about HIIT training. Now it's definitely more about, for a long time it was about hypothermic amenorrhea, but now it's all about that balance and that healthy balance where we can be in the best bodies we have and enjoy all the awesome health that we have and really live our lives without thinking about the physique and the food and training so much, while still keeping them as very important parts of our lives. This is it for today. I hope you found this episode interesting and maybe even fun. And next episode is going to be about balanced exercise, what it really means, how to train, how to work out in ways that you feel really good about your body and get the results that you want to get without any obsessions. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you again. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Balanced Vibes podcast. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and also leave a 5-star review on iTunes. For more about me, check out my website urbanjane.co. Yes, that's CO and not com. And connect with me on Instagram, where my username is Kersten Kimura. That's KerstenKimura. Until next time.